Okay, practicing making chess videos for lessons. I've just played a game. I played really well. I've been learning lots of things about positional play. Roy Lopez. This is my move now. Quite passive. Slowly, I'll build up in the centre. I get away from all the sharp lines. Give up half my advantage, but at least I won't get forced into any traps and things. We're both building up in the centre. I want to create a weakness. I want to make his B pawn weak, which I do. This pawn is on its own. I've made his bishop a bit worse by putting it in the corner. It's only a small advantage, not very much. Let's see how much my advantage is. Probably 0.4 something, 0.5, okay? But in the Roy Lopez, black gets space. He has pawns in the centre. I have less pawns in the centre, but he creates weaknesses in his position. Not that one, sorry, but here and here. Let's make that red here and here. And this is weak. So he expands fast, but it causes weaknesses. I expand more slowly. And white has a bit of long-term pressure. Black sort of chokes a bit because he tries to open up. That is a natural move to open up his position, activate his rook, but it's a mistake because he loses a pawn. I advance and his rook is threatened. And then I can win a pawn. Winning a pawn is not always a good idea. Sometimes taking material gives the opponent play, but here I have lots of moves back. I have a check here. I have a threat of a mate or an attack if I move my queen there. He takes me back. I decide I'd rather have his king in the corner, just so if there's any back rank threats, they're available. And then this is the point in the game where I make a move which I never would have made before. So traditionally I would have always done this because I wouldn't like to mess my pawns up. But I've learned that that's not the best thing to do because, whoops, this pawn is weak. It's far back on its starting rank and I am starting to attack them this way. This knight is weak. It's only defended by one piece and it's in the way of the pawn. So this is a strong place for me to attack. If I was to take with the knight, he can get rid of one of these weaknesses. It's not good. I'm helping him untangle. So I take with the pawn. My pawns are a bit messed up. They're separate. I wouldn't really like that previously, but I've got better control of the centre. His knight here can no longer come to these good squares. His weaknesses here and here are exposed. So the pawn structure is maybe not even worse for me because I've got extra central control and I've got extra advantages of continuing to pressure these weak pieces. He does this. Oh, take those off. I pressure his weak piece straight away, and then, as happens in chess, as you start to be losing or under pressure like he is, you start to mess things up, try and make things complicated and scramble. So I'm nearly 2 pawns up at the moment, according to the machine, but it's not that easy. I threaten this piece twice. He tries to get rid of that weak pawn we were talking about before. He's fighting to get rid of the 2 weaknesses that I was targeting. That's how chess works. Now, if you know what you're doing, which I'm starting to. But if neither of us are doing anything wrong, you can't get away with this sort of stuff. When I had the advantage and I was pressing, there'll always be something there for me. And this is what there is. I have much better pieces straight down the centre. This rook comes to a great line. I'm threatening to take these pawns and cause problems. So I move my rook here. Knight to the centre. I open up that line. so that this threat is becoming real. Now I'm 2 pawns ahead according to the computer here, but it's very complicated. I even messaging him at this point, chatting, because this is so complicated. Because if I was him, I would do this. He is under huge pressure and I'm winning so slightly, but it's so complicated. I would probably do that. I would sacrifice the exchange, open up this side, and you have options of checks and things against the king, and it gets very complicated. Anyway, he does a different thing. He tries to get rid of that problem, and now I'm threatening this piece 3 times. He can't move it, it's pinned. His only way out is to try and get the queens off the board. That's a great idea, getting the queens off the board. If one person's winning, it's your most dangerous piece. It's if you're attacking, it's the one you desperately want to keep. So getting rid of mine is a great idea generally, but here it's no good because my pieces are just so much more active and useful than his are at the moment. So let's see how that works. My bishops are all attacking his king. My knight's causing threats here of forks and revealed checks. And he's under pressure. He tries to make room for his king. I just develop my worst placed piece, which is a good thing to do. I don't know, why does he move his king out? I'm not really sure the purpose of that move. Oh, I do know actually. It's because I missed this in the game, that actually instead of knight to there, knight to here, where his king is completely trapped and my knight threatens to come here, is completely winning. So I missed that in the game. Do this, and then he protects that. He sees it to make sure I can't do it. But I'm so far ahead, there's another way to win. So I fork his knight and his rook. He doesn't have much choice but to take me, and now I'm pinning this, I'm threatening this, another pawn is going to fall, and I'll be 2 pawns up, which the computer considers as a +5 pawns advantage. You just can't get over that. He tries to get his king out of the pin, but there's no option because I can win another pawn. Okay, and now we're in a same kind of bishops ending, where I want to keep his pawns fixed on the same colour as my bishop, and I will be able to win them because he'll never be able to get onto this diagonal to stop me. So king activity is important here, and now I start to threaten these, and to save a pawn he has to let me get a passed pawn, and this pawn is unstoppable except for losing your bishop, which is not a good idea. He resigns. Here we go. So it's not really a lesson. It's a lesson for me, but it's a practice of making a video like this. The lesson for me was this move, where I read about 5 chess books on holiday, and that's what my 20 hours of reading achieved. That pawn move. Time well spent, I think you'll agree.